After their loss on Sunday, the Jaguars parted ways with Gus Bradley, relieving him of his coaching duties. This was the only move. We knew this was going to happen. We've been talking about this for years on Time to Shine. Listen, Gus Bradley, wonderful human being, horrendous football coach. Gus Bradley, nice man, awful at his job. Sometimes stats and rankings lie. This, you know what this screams? Fire me, failure, put me out of my misery. Gus Bradley is awful. Really great guy. You would love for him to be your next door neighbor. You would love to grab dinner with him. You just don't want Gus Bradley coaching your football team. By the way, Tom Coughlin on the radar? Yeah, that's the first guy I would talk to. I'll say it again. Tom Coughlin should be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And regardless of who's coaching the team, with Gus Bradley gone, Blake Bortles next? Listen, if I'm a Jaguars fan, I gotta be energized. But what General Manager Dave Caldwell said at his news conference yesterday, that the next head coach doesn't have to be married to Blake Bortles. See, this is a big deal for a couple of reasons. Number one, Blake Bortles is horrendous at his job. And we've talked about that Jags gig, knowing that Gus was eventually going to get fired. And you ask yourself, does anybody want to hitch their wagon to Blake Bortles? If you're Josh McDaniels, you take that job. If you're David Shaw, do you consider that job? If you're Kyle Shanahan, you know the usual suspects. Here's part of the deal and why I give Caldwell credit. Because if you're a head coaching candidate, you have to walk into a meeting with Dave Caldwell and try to campaign for that job and try to get hired by Dave Caldwell. And you have to look at Dave Caldwell in the eye and say, you failed by drafting Blake Bortles with the third overall pick, and it's on you, because that was a Dave Caldwell selection. And that made no sense at the time, and we destroyed that pick when Jacksonville made it. So I'm thrilled for the Jags and also for Caldwell, because he deserves to take a hit and eat some crow. And listen, at the end of the day, that makes the Jaguar job even more attractive because they have talents. Caldwell had a really excellent offseason, draft and free agency. They needed a real coach and a real quarterback.